And we're live.
We are live. Welcome to Quick Reviews. I am Guy Ritchie. This is my co-host, Guy Buttersnaps.
Do you have these written down?
What?
Do you have these written down, or are you just pulling them out of your...
I'm pulling them out of nowhere, man. I just thought of, who's a famous director? I'm going to be the famous director. What's a name that Sean gives to Burt Guster and Psych when they do stuff? That. Anyway.
We're gonna review a track.
We're reviewing a track by Apple, Love You Baby, and we're gonna.
I think pineapple is the appropriate.
Pineapple
would be the appropriate emoticon here.
Pineapple. Anyway, oh, I get it. Pineapple. He is green and an apple. Pineapple.
Yeah, and he also like is fond of
pineapple.
The pineapple.
Yeah. There's like 3 layers there.
And you didn't know about any of them until right now.
I'm an idiot. Anyway,
so this is an interesting track.
What I do know is that the title "The Mountain Will Fall" comes from a DJ Shadow album, and
I didn't know that. I was thinking it was super dramatic and thinking that it was going to be like some sort of destruction of Line Rider thing, and it was not so much, but...
No, I saw this and I was just like, oh, it's fun.
Something Shadow. I want to throw out before we get started is that I don't totally remember this conversation because it was in what? August?
October.
Which was a long time ago at this point. But
was it in August?
No, it's in September.
No, September.
But Apple sent me this track, and it was done up until like right before like the super long airtime, which you'll see when we start it. Everyone who's watching, all you thousands of viewers, and he was like, "What do you think?" And I was just kind of like I was trying to be like, I'm trying to give you constructive criticism, but mostly I just have meh. and
I am overwhelmingly nonplussed.
Exactly. And then he like released it, and I was like, whoa, so I don't know if maybe me just being like meh rainbow was an influence, but whatever. I just wanted to throw that out there before we get started. All right.
Maybe he just took what you say seriously and was like, I will use that.
Yeah, maybe that's... If so, sweet.
Good
I
shit.
guess.
All right.
All right.
I'm ready. This is on track. Let's go.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
I've actually forgotten what's in this, so I'm going to as we go. Oh, okay, so...
The first thing I noticed was that the music does not match the track.
It's dense, and the music's so, like...
Yeah,
slow and airy, and it's just like,
which was like disconcerting in a way, but also it was like I was like, oh, this could be so cool if it was more intentional. I don't know.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had like, I don't know, like Cork, like that was like intentionally not synced to this music. And then you like changed it up to actually match up to the music at one point. Like this track kind of does, but not quite. Anyway, do you have anything to say about this section before we leave it?
What if you had like flings that are like long tones? I love this part though.
It's so entertaining, and it's just like, for some reason it was so powerful to have like, you know, stuff, and then as soon as the song gets going, it's like. I'm falling in slow motion, you know?
And with the big old claps, too.
Yeah. It's like, well...
Claps are so helpful.
The music evokes this, like, vastness, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And so does the track. I wish that this part, like, matched up with the music more. It seemed like it was just pick a random spot and start going. But I love the...
This is where it kicks in. Yeah.
Yeah! Best part.
Ooh!
Best part of the track right there.
That's what I like.
My favorite part of the track. I love how high speed is treated as something that can be intense and can also not be intense, which I do not see very often. Yeah! Also, the Cramule,
Yeah.
like the sudden speed boosts and stops on the beat work really well because the beat is so strong.
Yeah.
The claps are so huge.
It's like, for the first time, somebody found a track that was good for Cramules.
Yeah, it's so rare to see like Cramules that actually feel like they make sense. You know, it's like boom, and you're like, yeah, that's what a Cramule sounds like.
Oh, and then he recycles it.
I wasn't a huge fan of the recycle because it didn't sync up the second time, and I didn't even notice it was a cycle until the third time I watched it, to be honest. Oh, this is my favorite part. This is my second favorite part, sorry. Because it's like, wait, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, what? And then,
Oh,
what?
wow.
It's like, just what?
I forgot about that.
It's such a cool moment.
And it just ends.
And then it just ends.
Huh.
There's so many good moments in the latter half, and it feels very much like a brainstorming session, but a lot of it works. I just think there's a lot of really cool ideas, you know?
I feel like here's my suspicion, and Apple, you are free to correct me if I'm wrong at any time here. Hey, you know where to find me. But this feels like, okay, I'm gonna doodle some track to keep up with, like, I know how to make track in general. And then from there, he's like, okay, I've gotten to this point. This could be considered a track. I should include some ideas. And then from there, this, like, awesome, like, oh, what if I just had a big old, like, airtime here happened, and it's just like, oh, shit. This works. Oh, he skips past the airtime in the...
Yeah, he skipped the airtime in the color replay. Easily my favorite part is this part right here, though. Zoop, and then zoop, boom, zoop, boom, zoop, boom. It's so good.
One of the things I think Apple is really good at that very few people have been able to recreate is, I think Apple has a better understanding of motion in Line Rider than anyone else.
I would say in
sense,
particular the motion of Bosch on the screen in relation to the lines he's colliding with.
Yes.
And you can see that he's very aware of how it looks, what it looks like, you know?
Yeah.
Which seems like that's like the most basic thing is how does Bosch look and how do the lines look in relation to Bosch? Like that is Line Rider, but so many people don't pay a lot of attention to that, you know? And so he can be going like 1,000 ppf, but if there's like a solid flat line on screen, just being repeated every frame, it looks very still.
Right.
And then, you know, he can be going 30 ppf, but if he's like, you know, spinning really fast in a circle, it looks very intense. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people really understand. And I think it's something that Apple is very, very good at.
Quarter speed from the start?
Quarter speed from the start. Let's do it.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, I also like the minimal editing for this. I think it works.
Yeah.
Especially with a song that's so spaced.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you here. I'm tired of color replays.
Yeah, I don't need the color replay in my life. But
I feel like if I want the color replay, I can download the TRK. I mean, unless you want to, I feel like if you want to present the track as color, like if you want to say the color replay is the work, then that's cool. But like, it's getting really tiresome to me to have like, here's the track, here's the color replay, so you see how I did it. Like in the same video, it feels like maybe you make a making of video with the color, but I don't know.
I think the one moment where it's useful here is when I was like, hold on, how does he like, I don't know how fast he's going. That one moment with the horizontal line, I wanted to see at what point it started becoming red. I don't think it was necessary for the whole track. One of the things I think people should do more is
maybe have some credits over like some highlights of here's what things look like in color.
What Raphael did for Heart Attack.
Yeah.
Raphael did slow motion over like interesting quirk bits, and when he did that, I was like,
considered interesting.
I thought they were interesting. It was like, that's a really complex little turnabout thing there. but like again, it's all up to taste.
Yeah.
um, but like I always thought that was a neat idea because I didn't need to see Heart Attack again in
Yeah,
color
yeah.
replay. I it's zoomed out enough that I got the gist of what the track was like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first go around. Most people just use it as a lazy excuse to just have credits going over it, but I think most credits can be summed up as "I made this," and if somebody else recorded this, this person recorded this, and this is the music. I shout
Yeah.
out to all my fans, right? Like
Well,
that's it.
I mean, I have to say that I like using color replay. I definitely like using the replay over the credit or replay along with the credits for bare tracks. Um, Sometimes I'll speed it up. Um, and then I also like
When it's scened, and
hmm,
then you want to see the bear track.
yeah, and then the I guess the other example of when I used a color replay was Colorblind, where I wanted to show like the editing tricks I did, and it turns out that a lot of people didn't watch the color replay because they assumed there was nothing there because there usually isn't. So no one actually like most people didn't actually pick up on what I did, but whatever. But that was
I
just
think it was subtle, which I kind of appreciate,
well, I don't
honestly.
want to talk about that track though. I want to talk about
Anyway,
this.
um, I think a lot of the like one of the things that I really do appreciate about this dense section that you don't see a lot of are long lines like going through it. Like aesthetically, it has this
A
very
lot of them are
like
green.
yeah, he just has this like very sort of feels like interlaced
Most of them are
feel.
actually pretty obviously green. It's sort of weird.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why. Like some of them are like that's very, very obviously green, um,
but
which
I
is
did a
sort of
lot
a
of that with
weird
Braggadocio,
aesthetic.
so
And
that's soft
no,
spot in
but
my
that's
heart.
like those lines were like okay. So I'm gonna pause this. I just paused it. I'm gonna go back a little. I'm gonna pause it at 052. Um, this line here, very, very clearly green,
Oh
but
yeah.
it also looks like it's trying to be disguised as not green, and it makes me be like, what are you doing? Like that we know that's green and it looks kind of odd and like it looks like it I don't know, it's like I'm not a
I
fan. It doesn't add to the aesthetic.
every time I think about disguising lines, I'm just imagining the line with like a little mustache below it. Like,
Yeah.
no, I am not a line. Anyway, let's
I
hit the go button on this.
I like the aesthetic, but I feel like you don't have to pretend that they're actual track lines to get the aesthetic. And what if we experimented around with things like because there's like two instances where it's like this is clearly green, and then a lot of green where it's like it's not clearly green. It makes the ones that are more obvious look like a
Uh,
mistake, you know, as
I
opposed
want
to
to say,
like being like this is obviously green and that's the point, you know. Anyway.
like Wreck by WTB, where he has all those like fake lines. Is
Yeah,
just
like that
like,
would be an example where it's very intentional.
yeah,
Or
I like that.
braggadocio, where it's like, yeah, no shit, these are green lines. Like no one's, you know.
Just like, I wonder if that drawing of a cactus is a is part of the track. Wow, he goes by it in a second and doesn't touch it at all. Could it be?
All blue.
Anyway, all blue. Oh, I should have said that at the end. Anyway, back to this track.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
All blue. um,
All right. So
but
anyway,
I appreciate that uh, Apple like takes the time to like do a bunch of like different really weird iterations of stuff, and he tends to treat a lot of the similar stuff. This is mostly filler while the free fall happens. Uh, he tends to treat a lot of the stuff the same. It is he doesn't necessarily, I think, like privilege chains over like manuals and flats. Like he'll intersperse flat sled in pretty much with equal regularity with chains and flings and stuff, and it's this like dense mess of everything. And it feels like this potpourri of things that he's just trying out. Like, what if I went into this, following this?
I mean, I think I see what you're saying, but I guess I disagree that that is something worthy of praise, just because I feel like it. Like
I'm
when
not
I watch
praising.
Apple's tracks, a lot of the time it's like, well, you said it's something I like. When I watch Apple's tracks, a lot of the time it's like, it's a bunch of quirk and a bunch of manuals, and occasionally some fake green lines, like fake manuals. And it's like it's not that he doesn't experiment within those confines, but
He
I
does a
feel
lot of
like
flat split too.
experimentation within those confines. Well, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. It's like it. I don't know. I don't see artistic experimentation. I see making
Until
a
we get to
track and
this.
trying fun stuff. Until this, like this was like the first section of this track, it just felt like a bunch of stuff to me, very much so. I mean, we talked about how we were going to be more blunt
Yeah.
in season 2
Well,
of
okay,
Quick
so
Reviews.
it,
What
it
is it,
is
season
it,
3?
it is a
guess,
bunch
now?
of stuff, but um, I don't know honestly if this was intended to be like uh, this feels like something you'd see in like a behind the scenes or like sort of like a I'm making this as practice kind of thing
Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
there's so many different things, and part of me just thinks that the dense sort of soup of stuff is so that he has something to practice on, and just so that he
I mean, yeah, I would just
remembers
argue that that's
techniques.
dumb stuff to practice on because everyone's doing that, and it's not interesting.
That's fair.
I mean, I've seen that 1,000 times, you know? This is something I've not seen 1,000 times, and I'm going to see right now, which is
the
probably my favorite thing Apple's ever made, which is that it shrinks, it goes away. It's like visualizing the line that he's colliding with as part of an animation. It's just brilliant.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what the bee and the dragonfly looks like.
I'm very interested to see what that track looks like. Anyway, that's my favorite part. We can all go home now.
Yeah. I think in short, we can sort of sum it up as like this track has a lot of really random shit with some moments of brilliance.
Yeah. Well, the first part I felt like there wasn't anything that stuck out to me, and then there was a lot of airtime, and I was like, okay, I guess this feels good, but I don't know where we're going with this. And then like this section of the track was like a lot of really cool ideas interspersed with experimentation.
Stuff.
You know, there's a lot of experimentation, and there's some really good ideas in here.
A lot of this actually looks similar to what the bear track for Braggadocio looks like, if I'm being real.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I really like that this experimentation with rolls too. It's really fun.
Yeah, I do a lot
keeping
of
a high
zigzagging.
speed going, and then like rolling him around with the line, and it kind of feels like it's not super refined, but it kind of feels like the line is spinning him.
Yeah.
And then I do like the cramules with the claps, because it's like it actually feels like it works.
It was essentially one of the ways I wanted to simulate
I was like,
integration while simultaneously like speeding him up.
yeah,
So I can definitely like
also like that.
see that. Oh yeah, this is fun because you can.
Contact juggling, but actually cool.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't. Yeah, a lot of contact juggling just feels like
tracing
okay.
dots along wherever Bosch is going. And this one's like, it's like the dot is, it's like you can see the visualization looks cool. You know, it looks like it's doing something. I don't know.
Yeah.
In a
I
way,
think
this is
contact
like,
juggling
you know,
works
the end of
particularly-
I wanted to say that this is like a lot of the stuff we see in this track, especially having to do with the green lines, is a lot like the end of Supersonic Motion, like the very end, like fleshed out, and just like, let's blow this idea wide open and see what we can do with it, which is very exciting, because that was easily my favorite part of Supersonic Motion.
Moar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, that's what I get from this track. Lots of random stuff, moments of brilliance. Want more of the moments of brilliance, want less of the random stuff.
And I think there's nothing wrong with experimentation. I would just say I love the experimentation in the second half of this track, and the first half I'm like profoundly indifferent towards. And that doesn't mean I hate it. It just means I'm indifferent.
Yeah, well, it's experimentation within a genre that's been pretty much constantly explored since around 2007,
Yeah,
2008.
this part's fun too.
Whereas this is a relatively new frontier with
Yeah,
animation.
yeah.
Um, we've at this point we've seen so many permutations of Manucore that any experimentation within that realm is still going to feel like more of the same.
I've spent like maybe 1,000 hours archiving Line Rider tracks in the last year or so, and there's so much Manuquirk.
That's what I'm saying, man.
There's
People
so
have
much like I
explored
like
the shit
literally
out of it.
90% of oh, this is my other favorite part because it's so cool because he like goes and you're expecting he's slowing down, so you're expecting he's gonna stop and go back, but then his
Yeah,
scarf like freezes. It looks like it
and then
just
you're like,
stops, and you're
hold
like,
on.
did the video just freeze? Like it looks like nothing is happening, you know, and you're like, what's going on? And then you see that and you realize, oh, he's moving forward really slowly, except you don't even have enough time to realize it before he gets picked up by it. That's like something that
Yeah,
it's like it wouldn't mean much to someone who hadn't seen like a zillion Line Rider tracks like us, but it was like a really cool moment because it totally subverted my expectations, and it's something that could be used to create a really cool moment in say music syncing or whatever with the like you could like slow him down and then just stop him and it would look like the I don't know.
yeah,
It has potential, not just for music syncing, for lots of stuff, but it's a cool moment.
yes. So yeah, I think it's a good spot to end. Uh,
You were
we
I think I just shouted over you like 4 times. Did you have
eh,
anything?
uh, well, let's we can work on that the next the next couple times. Practice, my friend. All right.
No, but
I
I wouldn't.
I don't really have that much to say. Again, the stuff that's really new is brilliant. The stuff that is random feels like something Shua would make, but it doesn't feel exciting. Um, and I understand that it's there as just sort of as like a way of being like, I can probably execute some of these other things better if I remember how to do all these other things. I don't know. Part of me feels like I'm just coming up with justifications for reasons why the randomness is there. Uh,
I don't think there's a
and
reason.
I won't ever know until I ask Apple. You know where I am. uh, but
I
anyway,
guess yeah. I mean, he could tell us.
yeah, he could. Anyway, that's
Anyway, we thoroughly enjoyed this track. Is the
I've said
upshot.
anyway like 10 times now.
We thoroughly
That's most-
enjoyed this track, especially moments in the second half,
Yes.
which I think is the summary of my comment down here.
Yeah. Alrighty.
All right.
That's all, folks. Guy Ritchie and Guy Buttersnaps signing off.
Thanks for watching.